What's going on, everybody? Judd Burden here. Sorry, that was we've been trying to go live here for a while from the desktop, but unfortunately, it's been a bit of a challenge. We've had to go to the iPad, Facebook. I don't know what they're doing. They're starting to do something. I'm just going to share this out to a few groups here, and then Justin should be on very soon here. Let me go ahead and pull Justin into this. This is about nighttime seal coating. Just bear with me, I'm pulling right now. Justin, what's going on? Man, there's a serious issue with Facebook. Can't bring Justin on camera. There he is.
I'm here.
Man, I'm telling you, this Facebook Live is going to be about technical issues on Facebook, man. I can't add anybody on the desktop, on the laptop. I've got all the devices, like everything, all cooking here, but I can't get you on.
Jeez.
Is my camera turned straight for you, or am I sideways?
No, you're straight for me.
Oh,
I'm just in the truck. Just headed back to my job site. So.
Right on. Excellent, man. That's fantastic. All right, I've shared this out to USA Sealcoaters. I just want to share it out to a couple more groups to see if we can share this awesome information we're gonna chat about. As I was saying in that live that I had started in USA Sealcoaters just earlier, really, the goal of this is not to say that anybody's the best at anything or anybody's better than anybody. This is more about sharing information and getting people to chime in on the comments and really ask questions and give advice, pertaining to that stuff. So I'll go ahead and get this shared over, and then we'll get started. Appreciate you taking the time, man.
Oh, no problem. Same to you.
How's the weather in Michigan?
So it's not raining today, so we're good.
Well,
we had a little cold streak last week, but we have a good night tonight, so we'll take it.
Praying for the people in Virginia and Carolinas there, man.
Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was actually thinking about headed down for maybe some help, doing some cleanup down there. So. Right
on. Cool, man. Generous, bro. Okay, we are shared out. We're on Facebook Live right now. We are on USA Sealcoaters, which is where I really wanted to start it from. It's a closed group, so I don't know if that had something to do with it or if it's a laptop glitch, but whatever it is. So, we spoke earlier, I guess it was, when was it? End of last week, we started speaking about this?
Yep, I believe Friday.
And, the topic came up because there's a big hole when we look in Google and we look in different places, there's a big hole where there's questions being asked about nighttime asphalt maintenance and things you need to think about and things you want to bring and that kind of stuff. And so when there's a hole in an industry, there's risk for potential, mishaps, time lost. It impacts the industry poorly because maybe somebody doesn't do something that they should have from a safety perspective or a curing perspective or whatever it is, that can kind of have a bad rap on what it is that we're all involved with, which is this industry. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? I know a lot of people on USA Sealcoaters, know you, and but for those that don't know you, can you go ahead and just kind of give us a little bit of background and share your awesome story?
Well, I'm Justin, the owner of Sealcoat Asphalt. I've been following this dream of mine now for 5 years. My dad had a good friend that started out doing this for him, paving all his parking lots when he bought a building or whatever he would do. And it was something I always wanted to do. And I just kept finding myself going right back to asphalt, even though I was following different jobs and trying to open up different businesses. And I just had a thing for asphalt. So I finally had the courage and a little bit of money saved up to try it. And I can tell you my first year of doing research online, just like you say, there was holes in everything. And there's nights where I just thought I knew I thought I knew I did my research, and I went out and did the job. And I can tell you, I lived and learned on some of the projects that I've started and finished to now. So it's been a big learning experience, and this is my 5th year now. And I can tell you, I wish I knew now what I did when I first started. I can tell you that. So but it's been fun. The night work is it's something, especially from Florida to here, and I've did a lot of work in Florida and come back to Michigan, and everything's just different pretty much everywhere you go. Weather's a huge factor in what we do too. So, but that's pretty much, I guess, all I can say about me.
There's got to be more. Come on, tell us some of the challenges and hurdles, man. You started. How much money you start with?
I started with $7,000. I asked my fiance at the time if she thought it was something I should follow, and she told me absolutely. We have a family business here. We own mechanic shops, and my dad did that for 30 years, and something I just wanted to get away from and open up my own business. And she told me to kind of follow it, so I did it. And it's the challenges and the mistakes that I've had. I can tell you, I definitely don't want to have those again. And I'm glad that I've had them now, looking back, that I've lived and learned, and we are where we are today because of them. But a lot of people that start start companies and do the nature of the work that we do. You know, there's a lot of times where I get discouraged and I just want to give up. And if it wasn't for my wife, I think at times I would probably already have. But um, I've learned, and she's helped me through it. And now that I have a good mentor, as you, Judd, and and everyone else on the Asphalt Sealcoater page, man, if I had these pages when I first started, I think I would be triple where I am right now. Seeing everybody else struggle on there, you don't see a lot of people post, the negativity or the bad that they have in the company. And I think DC Ridner is one of the first persons that actually had posted that, and I've seen a mistake that he had or something that failed that he had to redo, and that kind of got me on the kick to start posting some stuff that I had failure on, or a hose break and cover a garage, and let other people share that there is a lot of ups and downs to what we do. It's not every day go out and hit the streets and make money and everything goes smooth and everyone's happy at the end of the day. There's a lot of days that I go out and nothing goes the way I want it to go. But I managed to pull it off and learn from my mistakes. And the next job, I take 100% of it, and I take those mistakes on that job. So.
And are you on a job site, right? Like, are you in your truck, or where are you?
No, I'm just down the road from a job site. So we've been out all day dozing on a job site and putting some curbing. It's kind of one of the scariest ones I think we've challenged yet. It's pretty much a new demo. And I'm learning every day. There's stuff that I think that I know, and we start a project and it's nothing I know, but I'm learning as I go. And I got good people that stand behind me that are real good in excavation and I'm learning. I can tell you the paving part of this world, it's the most discreet industry I've ever in my life experienced. I've heard from about 100 pavers that you'll never learn unless you do it yourself. And I can tell you, I've talked to hundreds of people, and the only way I've ever learned where I am right now is by learning it myself and getting out and trying my paver out on my own and running mix through it. And it's scary. There's times where it's just terrifying, but we make it happen.
That's awesome, man. It's growing up too, like my father at a very young age started bringing me into meetings and like getting the exposure, and then started getting hands on and started working with search engines really in the early days, like Alta Vista, those different search engines when I was like, at that time, man, I would have been 15, something like 16,
Yeah.
But being exposed to something, seeing it with your own eyes, feeling it, and actually seeing the outcome of what it is that you're capable of doing, right? From mind to physical to application with a machine. It's pretty amazing. And
yeah, it is. Yes, sir.
Always improve. It's cool stuff. Seam, when you're dealing with seams, edging, all the different stuff, right? It's all interesting. I guess what a tip. We're off the night topic, but that's cool. I think people appreciate that. You were mentioning something about you at times maybe wanting to give up, like just, is this the right thing to do? Maybe just go get a job, or like, in those moments, what would you say the best thing that or the best advice you would give somebody right now who's on the edge of maybe giving up? What would be that best advice? Because there's nobody nobody better than people who have been there and have overcome some of those hurdles. And I get there's challenges all the way, all the way through life, and whether it's personal, business, there's always challenges. But for somebody who is in the asphalt maintenance world right now and is considering giving up, what would be your best advice?
The biggest thing I can say is just take some time, and think about, take some time to yourself. I find myself dedicating 195% to my job, which is it's good and it's bad. There's times where I know that I maybe should just call it a night, and I don't. Um, I don't like to give up, and sometimes it comes my worst enemy. And there's days where I just want to just quit, and I lost a lot of motivation at times, and I just take a day or two off, and maybe I'll have my guys out on a job site and just have them doing something simple as far as cleaning, or just getting the job prepped, and I'll take a day with to myself with my family, and that's the biggest thing I think that brings me back around to more the road as I need to be on, and I find myself when I get back to the job, it's like a whole different world, and it's like that's just what I need is a little bit of time to myself, and like I say, that's one of my worst enemies I struggle with is I put too much thought in, or I put too much time in on my jobs, and I'm a big neat freak, and having my jobs clean, I see a lot of these guys that do these jobs that they just don't care and they seal. That's not how we run our company. We try to make our jobs 110% perfect, and sometimes it becomes my worst enemy. It really does, because there's jobs that don't need as much work as we put into them, and we still just give it our 100%, and then I find myself making a problem out of that job, and it's a struggle, a mental struggle with me all the time. There's like the job we have right now, I have lost probably a week of sleep on, but I know I can do it. It's just getting the guys out there, getting my mind on the job. And there's sometimes I show up on the job, my mind's not even there. I just need maybe walk away or go get lunch and come back, and I'm ready to go. But that's just the whole nature of the game, and learning how to become your own entrepreneur is knowing that you have to give up at some time, and know there's struggles involved with everything that you do.
So true. Brian Hess just posted a comment here. He says, giving yourself space in the world creates the space in your head that needs to get straight sometimes, And
Absolutely.
and that's another thing he said is everybody wants to give up on certain days. Success is continuing on the face of failure, right? So it's there's definitely boundaries. What's the definition of insanity? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again with the same negative result.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so, one of the things I think that's really important to understand and to note, and for anybody watching this, is that if you're failing at something consecutively, and this is just failing, you really got to take a piece of paper and write about the things, whether it's on your computer, paper, whatever it is, but write the things that you're actually failing with. And you're going to find that the majority, you're going to write the same line over and over and over again, right? Because the majority of people that are failing are struggling by doing the same thing over and over again with the same negative result and then wanting to give up. But as an example, when you were in those times where you maybe wanted to give up, did you feel alone?
All the time. Well, she's my wife now. I tell my wife all the time, I'm out here alone. It's like I'm all on my own. It's all on my own, and I'm learning every day. It just feels like you're in the school with no teacher and no classmates. You just don't have no one to talk to, and you're just nothing but walls around you, and it's every day. Yeah.
Figuring it out. Yeah, and I think the thing that with the power of what we have with social media, and also like just being able to network with people and communicate with people, I think it's important for people to know that forget about being alone with the bank account. That's financial is different, but actually having a team of people that motivate you, have somebody who's really good at motivating you, have somebody who's really, really good at maybe the techniques in which you will do the application or advice in that, or quotations. If you're struggling with quotations, making your jobs profitable, find somebody who's really good at bidding on jobs and quoting on jobs. But building that network and team is so crucial. I know certainly in the business that I'm in, Um, you know, the team that I have, I can tell you, it's like having an orchestra of instruments that are all well tuned and playing really well. And that took time. And some of those people that are playing the instruments are not staff or partners. Those are people that just, you know, are good friends, good people, good mentors, good people to communicate with, that charge my battery positively ongoing. So anybody who's listening here, we're going to dive into the night tips here, but I think this is, you know, this is really important because a lot of people struggle with that. You know, Justin, they're at that edge, man. They're at that edge. Do I give up? Do I not? Like, I mean, I've seen some stuff posted on USA Sealcoaters about guys interested in starting the business, and a lot of guys here are posting, don't ever get in that business. Go get a job paying you $7 an hour somewhere else, or you know what I mean? Like, I get that it's tough. I get that it's tough, but define what your tough is, and figure out how to make that tough to something that's more positive, more you know, geared towards positivity and growth, rather than injecting that negativity to somebody who may be interested in becoming financially free, that's working for somebody else making $5-6 an hour. Everybody deserves the opportunity to fly and really truly succeed. And I think that's where positivity and encouragement and being able to build that network and team around you will truly allow you to excel and move forward faster than somebody who's alone, as you felt when you were first starting out. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel honestly, if I had you and Brian since the day I started, I don't even know where I would be right now. You know, you guys have been a huge mentor, especially with Sealcoat pages. You know, having the page is almost like fulfilling my classroom. You know, and then you guys there as teachers. You know, it motivates me on times that I need it more than anything. So I appreciate that too.
We appreciate you, man. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without that same kind of thing. Like, I'm, you know, on the side where I am, you know, of course, from a different angle, I'm not doing the service, right? Like, I'm not applying pavement. I'm not laying pavement. I'm not seal coating. I'm not line striping. I miss it because I used to do it, but
Yep.
but I'm trying to fill the holes. You know, I'm trying to get with this. This needs to be a movement of all of us together, moving together. And I think that that's where we can also raise the bar for the industry. And you know, DC just posted something today on the USA Sealcoaters about pricing for crack filling on a job and so on. And that's super valuable information. And where can you go? And who would you call? Like, if you were going to pick up the phone and call somebody to ask those questions from a guy who's been there, done that, and everything else, that's generally not readily available to a whole group like we have at USA Sealcoaters. And instantly that information is posted there, and people are going, all right, that guy's raising the bar. He's charging, you know, almost $1 a linear foot for crack filling, and he's getting it, and he's profitable. And other people should follow that trend to say, you know, we work hard, we deserve to be able to be profitable and earn money. So with that all being said, let's dive into the night asphalt maintenance pieces here. So you've done some jobs at night. Are you, the job that you're working on right now, are you doing any night work there?
Not the paving job that we're doing, but the job that we'll be starting tomorrow. In between the paving job, that this is going to be night work. It's going to be 4 nights of night work. And we're working around the customers and keeping them open, which a lot of companies in this industry don't like to do that. They want to just kind of close them down, get in, do their thing, and get out. You know, I like to keep my clients open so they're making money, everybody's happy. I find that being sometimes my worst evil, but it really helps the customer out that, you know, you're working around his schedule and yours, you know, so. But those jobs that we'll be on tomorrow will be night work, and of course I'll be live as usual. Everybody says, you know, I'm always live, but I like people to see what I'm doing and where I am away from my kids. You know, I spend a lot of time in parking lots, and you know, to me that's my second home. You know, is being out here and working hard and being away from my kids. I like to share where I am or where I'm at. You know, so
Awesome, man. So awesome.
yeah.
So like the types of jobs that you would do at night, would those be like maybe fast food chains, commercial complexes?
Lots of fast food chains, lots of doctors' offices. Here in Michigan, we get the weirdest weather ever. It's either super hot but rainy, super hot but cold at times. Our nights are really funny. Humidity is crazy. We're close to the water, so the humidity is kind of crazy. Uh, and my mix has got, when you're obviously mixing your sealer, you want to mix it for how your weather's going to be. And I try to watch the weather. And here, the weather is almost as bad as Florida, but in a different way. Florida, rain will pop up on you any given time. You never know. Here, humidity is our biggest here. So
Yeah.
yeah, getting our sealer right. I like to walk the jobs in the daytime and see what I'm up against at night. So my crew leader knows exactly where he should be at or where the guy should be focused at. Um, I've done a couple of jobs in the past where we went in clean like heck, and I thought it was perfect. We sealed them and come back the next morning, and it looks like that Desert Storm was on a couple of sides of the parking lot. So that was one of my biggest learning curves that I've had, in the past. So now I like to go to the job before, like this morning, I was at a job. We were scheduled for tomorrow night. I like to go in and see where the main focus is going to be in the parking lot, and that way when I go there, I can specifically point out where my crew leader should have the guys on, and mainly focused on. My guys don't like when I show up to the job site. They say that I put too much pressure on them, but I keep my guys laughing. They know when I show up. It's just a matter of time before everyone's laughing. Um, that's the biggest key at night work. A lot of guys, they're out there working and dust is flying. They lose a lot of motivation and they're tired, and they just at times they want to give up. So I keep my guys happy, and that's the biggest thing to getting the night work done to me. Um,
So the
but
takeaway, Justin, from the takeaway from that. So basically walk the job during the day, so you know the job site, you know the parking lot, the parameters of it, the kind of damaged or decayed areas that you might be dealing with. So you're basically doing an analysis during the day of what that job consists of. And
yep.
then are you walking that with one of your team leaders? Or are you walking that alone? Or what do you
Nope,
do?
I walk all my jobs on my own. I go to every job. I always tell all my guys and my wife that no matter how rich or famous I ever became by doing this or whatever happened, I would always go to my jobs. That's how my dad was, and that's how I'll always be. I don't care what happens. I'll always be on every single job that I ever schedule. Uh, some people say it's impossible, but if I'm not there, it won't be scheduled. This is how I feel. It's not that I don't trust anybody. It's just that I like to know what's going on. But yeah, I usually walk my job sites, and then we'll get my guys out there. I'll go over with my crew leader, and then I can leave site and let them get a good start. I jump off. I go get them fuel or some maybe some drinks or whatever I can to get them to be happy when I come back. And then when I come back, they're on their they're on the run. So
Got it. So then you were speaking also about sealer. Like, I know that's a really important part. But when you get to the job site at night, what are some of the key tools for lighting that you would use? Like, do you have lighting that you go with? Do you have a generator? Like, how do you light the parking lot if it's not lit by the property owner?
yeah, that's a good question. We have light bars on all of our trucks. That is one of the biggest things we struggle with at nighttime is lighting or where we should be at, or even when we're covering the ground, are my guys running a perfect pattern. I've done a lot of jobs where my guys were running sealer and come back the next day, and there's a lot of thin spots or spots that never even got hit. So we now we really focus on our patterns. Lighting is, if you don't have lighting, you don't have a pattern unless you really know what you're doing.
Right.
And yeah, so lighting is a must. We all have safety vests on no matter what, even if we're in a parking lot where there's no one around. I like that my guys know where everyone is. You can look across the parking lot at nighttime and see a vest. And we know if someone falls or if someone goes down that hey, they're laying on the ground or what's going on. They have a vest on, so vests are a must too.
Vests,
And
reflective vests.
reflective vests, absolutely, yep. But we use walkie talkies too. two-way talkies, and we have about 100 cones more than we should have at nighttime. Cones are a must, especially when doing night work. I don't care where you're at. You can, as soon as you lay that first little bit of sealer down, a car is going to come in and want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's just I find that all the time.
Yeah.
So
Tire marks. Yeah.
Yep, tire marks and cones. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So then the lighting, you were speaking about the light bars on the trucks. Do you use like just basically a horizontal light bar like?
Yep. Yeah, we have the 50-inch light bars that go on top of the trucks. We have ones built into the bumpers. We have sometimes we'll rent from our equipment rental place the lights that run off generators.
Right.
Some of the parking lots. It all depends on if there's any lights in the parking lot now that are existing. But yeah, that lighting is a huge key to doing night for sure.
I guess the other thing is, for night work too, you want to make sure, of course, I mean, day work it applies too, but for any cars that are on the parking lot that might have been left there, do you already have, I mean, obviously you've got a relationship with the towing company there in case it needs to be moved?
We do have cars towed. I'm not real big on that.
Right.
I'm pretty good at getting them to go neutral and getting them out of the way. We do have the tire dollies that we will, you put underneath the tires and jack them up, and we'll push them out of the way, and we'll come back and hit a spot. If it's in a corner, we'll push them into a corner. We can come back the next day and get into it real easy, and fix that spot. But we'll leave a spot where they can get out too. That's another thing. Make sure if you're going to leave a car on the site, make sure you leave a spot for them to get out. If not, hopefully there's no concrete around.
Right. That makes total sense. Okay, cool. So, and what about, do you have any portable halogen lights, or like, do you use any portable stuff, batteries operated stuff at all?
My guys do have lights that clip to their vests that are battery powered. They use them for the blowers. We have a couple lights that hook onto the blowers, so
Cool.
they can see where the dirt's going, and we really watch the wind too. We like to get the mist or the dust away from the building or anything, cars that are going to be in the parking lot. That's a huge factor too.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, if you're blowing dirt and debris and any kind of moisture or anything on the surface and it's blowing towards the building at night, you may not catch it nearly as well as what you would during the day. You can see it all around, around the building and so on. But always try and get the dirt and debris away from the building or the plastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned too. My guys will be blowing a parking lot, and they're blowing it, blowing to the right, and then the wind's blowing to the left, and it's blowing the dirt right back onto the parking lot where they're blowing. Right. And they'll get 3 or 4 hours into it, and it looks like they haven't even did anything yet. So definitely watch the wind. That's a big one.
Right. Okay. Cool. And then, of course, once you've blown the dirt and debris into a corner or out towards an area where you're going to do your cleanup and takeaway, I mean, that at nighttime, obviously, I guess one of the key things is don't cut corners. Like get rid of the dirt and debris that you've blown, and don't just dispose of it next to the parking lot or wherever. Right.
Yeah. Or over the curb into the grass. Or a lot of my guys when they first started with me, they would just blow it into the corner, and saves them a little bit of time of picking it up and loading. I'd run dump trucks now on my sites. That I usually tow my seal rig now with my dump truck, so it's right there. They have no excuse not to load it. And what they were doing is blowing it to the side, and we seal the parking lot. It looks awesome, and next day, we stripe it, and cars are parking there. Next thing you know, there's people with shattered windows or whatever you can think from the lawn care guys coming in and running over huge rock piles that are on the grass. So yeah, definitely pick it up.
Good tip. Now, just touching base, so on the crack filling side of things, what are you using for your hot pour crack fill right now? Like what application method?
So I have the QBRs, and we have some crack bandits too. We have the 50-gallon melter. I personally like the hot box. It's my favorite with the crack bandits. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. Like, you can run some cracks down pretty good with those. I'm just about done with the M10s for now. Yeah. I've had my face burnt by one. They're good machines. It's just not as fast for me as I need it to be. So that's why we like the 50-gallon melters. At nighttime too, I'll tell everyone. I tell all my guys on the site too. If you're running the M10s, keep crack fill in the box. My guys will run it completely empty, and then they'll put the lid open and they're trying to set it in there, and the thing, when you run it all the way out, it just cranks temperature, and they'll set something in there, and by the time they get in there, it ends up falling out of their hand and splashing up. And that's how I actually had my burn. I learned the hard way. Nighttime, we were crack filling a parking lot, and my one guy just kept running it completely out, so he would have to wait for it to build up. Well, I went to go set a brick in there, and the wind was blowing, and it was dark. I couldn't see, and it just happened to hit my hand. I let go, and it splashed, and it got me in the face pretty good. So I learned my lesson from that.
That's because you dropped the brick into an almost empty kettle.
Yep, but there was just
enough
just enough flash up. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and then obviously that's that crack filler that was melted in there with that layer at the bottom. It was so hot that it was so liquid. It wasn't thick, the viscosity of it. So when that brick went in, it just splashed up on you.
Yeah, because they keep them cranked. They keep them. They keep the torches up pretty high, and it runs out. It just cranks temperature.
Yeah, I get it. What about?
I like to keep them full.
Makes sense. Yeah, and it's kind of like ice cubes and hot water, right? Like you don't want the glass of water should always be a little bit full that you're feeding the rubber into.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So safety wear, you're using protective eyewear. You're using.
All my guys have hard hats.
Hard hats.
They hate it, but hard hats is a must. The last thing you want is a guy walking by with another blower, and you're blowing with them, and he's getting pelted by rocks. And a lot of my guys like to wear one-sided headphones, or something at nighttime. I'm not for that. I like everyone to know what's going on around them. A lot of these guys put headphones on and they just do their thing. They don't care. They could be spraying a car and they have no clue, But headphones definitely not on site. But we run hard hats, gloves, definitely some flame retardant pants at night too. So especially if you're doing crack filling, that's a big factor too. Without getting burned.
Totally. And what about for the seal coating? I know there's in our industry we have all kinds of different sealers that everybody likes or dislikes, and there's always it's funny sometimes to see the discussions around sealer. And so let's just go on a very surface level so we don't start a comment thread that's going to go forever. But I mean, from a sealer perspective, what do you do at night to ensure that your sealer is going to be cured out and making sure that it's actually going to be in a state of being able to have traffic the next day? What do you do in those cases? What kind of you use additives? What do you?
A lot of additives I played with. The additives I run here is the stuff that we use in Florida, and it works out good for me here. It's stuff in Florida really. I learned a lot when I went down there with the way sealer dries fast. Them guys, they're all about getting the cars in and getting the sealer dry and getting the cars in. They don't want to waste no time. So
right.
I run the most expensive additives I can find. I played around with a lot of them for the last couple of years. I feel like I just about got it down now. My sealer is really, really dark. A lot of people private message me about my sealer. It's kind of a touchy situation because I've been through it for years and years trying to get the color I wanted and my sealer to hold up to how it should have. And I do tell people a couple of my little tricks to the trade. But fast dry, I can't tell you how much it's saved my butt in parking lots at nighttime.
Fast dry is the bread?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. If you're not running fast dry, you're
missing out.
You're gambling it. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about fast dry. So like basically you have sealer, and fast dry can work in both in AE, asphalt emulsion, as well as coal tar.
Yep, absolutely.
And the fast dry basically if you're looking at, do you go by a chart with humidity indexes and temperatures and everything, or how do you do it? Is it just experience? Is it kind of being out there and figuring it out?
Yeah, I've went by charts, and I've had good luck with some charts, but here I just kind of have just a little personal mix that I learned off of, and if it says to use 10% a cut, I'll use a little more. And if it ends up being too thick on me, then I'll work its way down. I'd rather be a little on the safer side than sorry. the worst thing you could do is have a thin sealer or a really cut sealer and have it on a parking lot. And you 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, customers are coming in and it's not even near dry as it should be. I've learned that that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned is make sure your sealer is just perfect for the night that you're gonna. I watch the weather, and if I know it's gonna be really humid out, I make my sealer for that night. And you really just watch your additives and what you put in there, and that's what we do.
Heard of some guys over.
I'm not a big Facebook guy. So
What's that?
I'm not a big talker on Facebook, but
You're doing amazing, man. This is awesome. We could start a TV show.
yeah, right.
But the additives are, it's a very interesting topic because we certainly we sell fast dry, so we are in a business where we sell it, it gets to the client, and they overuse it in their sealer, and the next thing you know, their pumps are jamming up the next day and they haven't blown it out. I mean, big chunks blowing out the diaphragm pumps and stuff. And so I guess my question to you is there a way that maybe in USA Sealcoaters we could kind of give a written idea or some kind? I know that it varies depending on humidity and temperatures and everything, but do you think that somehow we can get some of the guys that have done this and really knowledgeable in this area and put something together so that other guys may not feel alone and have to figure this out the hard way and burn a lot?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think we could.
Cool.
But I have done a lot of mixes that someone showed me, and it hasn't worked out for me. So I think really it's more of a personal preference of what you can find to work for you. Like I said, I've worked on my mix for 2 years. It's not nothing special or nothing crazy. It's just a mix that works for me and my equipment, I ran different equipment that I've tried to use my mix on, and it doesn't work out at all. It's just like a totally different animal, and I've ruined tons of pumps in the process of learning how to get my mix to where it needs to be now. I got pumps. I think I got a pump right now that's probably so locked up. I don't think I could smash it with a loader. It would break. It's full of it.
Jammed.
I don't know. It's hard sealer, so.
Kind of like Play-Doh that's been left out but turns to stone.
Yeah. That's the worst feelings when you're spraying and you think you got it right, and just next thing you know, you're getting nothing but chunks and blocks up, your tips plugging up, and oh yeah, that's the worst feeling ever.
So I'd like to pop onto line striping. Actually, there's a question that just popped in here from Julie Alexandra. It says, do you use the product on all properties you seal or only at nighttime commercial jobs?
Do I use product all the product that I use
fast dry on day jobs too?
On my day jobs, yes. I use just about the same mix as if I'm running the daytime. Yeah. If the humidity is different, I'll jump up a little bit on my fast dry. And I use a lot of FSA and a lot of Top Tough, and all the main additives that you would want to run. At first, I never used additives. I didn't even know what they were. I seen them on the shelf, but no one ever told me. And you think at some of the plants that we go to, they would say, "Hey, you want to buy this too or that?"
You're thinking it's an upsell.
Yeah, yep. And I just didn't have the know-how, So I was basically spraying just nothing but raw sealer, and that was a bad mistake. But yeah, I run the same mix as if it was in the daytime. The only thing I change is this fast dry. It depends on the humidity.
So basically everybody should pimp their sealer, is what you're saying. They should soup their sealer up. So
yep.
if you're a seal coater in the industry and you're looking for a better outcome of the product that's being applied that you're already spending a bunch of money on per gallon, you should absolutely be souping your sealer up with an additive like fast dry.
Absolutely. Fast dry, I recommend. I love Top Tough. It's one of my favorites. We use a lot of FSA, and I played around. Every sealer is different. I did play around with the eco-friendly sealer a little bit. That stuff's a different animal too. I'm still learning that,
Is it really eco-friendly?
I don't think it is. If anything, it's more smelly.
We'll leave that for a private convo.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah, cool. So that's good. That's really good news because I know there's a ton of people in the industry that are using raw sealer and they're not you know adding any additives, and I know that the outcome and the curing time, everything, the whole outcome of the product is just totally a different beast. So we try to say the same thing, but a lot of people are getting this impression that fast dry is just an accessory that you may not really
No,
have to spend the money on, right?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely not. I can tell you, if without fast dry, um, and some of the additives that I run, I probably would have lost thousands on jobs. Um, just between color, it definitely increases the color, 100%.
rich black, right?
Yeah, yeah, yep. And another thing I find too, like with a lot of our competitors here, they buy a lot of ready mix and they just thin the heck out of it, and they'll try to get some additives on top of that, and
Sure.
I tell them all the time, just give the customer what you're paying for. I understand you have customers that don't want to pay for stuff. Just educate them a little bit, and then if you can't sell it to them, just don't do the job. That's my biggest advice I give to people when it comes to running sealer. So
Right on, right on. We're having a really crabby moment right now in our condo here. I'm in the Dominican Republic right now, and I'm looking at my wife, and there's a crab running around in her house, like all over the living room. It's really awesome. It's been doing this for a while. But anyway, yeah, thanks for sharing all that, regarding additives and all those pieces. And I think there's the last really important piece that can be extremely delicate because, of course, when you go and you put down a fresh, beautiful coat of sealer and then you go to line stripe at night a couple days later, or are you line striping the same night at nights? Or are you doing it another?
I like to wait a day to stripe, if the customer let me. Um, we run a lot of Sherwin-Williams paint. I don't use their blue. Um, we outsource for our blue, but I find that I've played with a lot of paint, and paint will either soak into the sealer or won't. I've seen sometimes it won't even cure to the sealer. Um, and the last thing you want is striping a parking lot and it's not sticking to the sealer, and customers are driving over it and it's just rock hard and falling off.
Right. Are you generally applying waterborne paint?
Yeah, I do nothing but waterborne. I'm not a fan of oil paint. I've only used it once. It just didn't work for me. Um,
Yeah.
I like the waterborne paint. It's fast. It's easy. Just about anybody can do it.
Less expensive too, which is a bonus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And expensive now from when I first started is understatement. Now paint is almost doubled what I used to pay. So
For paint?
yeah, yeah.
Is that because you've chosen a different quality of paint, or is that because the price has all gone up?
I don't know. It seems like if you don't watch your price anymore, they just jump it up without you knowing. I think so, and I think I just use the same stuff. I don't know. Just materials are changing. Everything's asphalt's going up, and sealer's starting to go up a little bit, and just paint's expensive. So
I see one of our Michigan boys just popped on here. Daniel Vanderwall's on right now.
that's my boy right there.
You guys are in the same. How far away are you from Daniel?
We're about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Nice. Have you met him?
Oh yeah, yeah. He bought a dump truck from me, and we talk all the time. We share,
Cool.
we share a lot of our stories together. They're great people. Him and his wife, they're awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Daniel's awesome. I communicate a lot with him too. He's just great, man. Awesome guy.
Yep.
Love
Yep.
him. Well, listen, the line striping application at night, we'll wrap things up as soon as we go through this. But basically, if you're striping at night, are you putting lights on your stripers? Do you have line lasers? Like, what are you using at night for your?
So we do have lights on our stripers. So we use light bars on our truck too. We mark out our parking lots and we do the red lines, to know where we're going. It's very difficult at night. I like to wait till morning, really early morning to stripe if I could.
Okay.
At nighttime, it's hard. It is very hard. I taught myself, and it's took me a long time. There's still sometimes I'll come back and I'm like, oh my god, I know I didn't do that one. But you just learn from from what you're doing, and learn from your mistakes. And I have mistakes just about every day on each job. You know, I kind of like that I have the mistakes now. Before I used to get upset with myself. Now I like it because I know, you know, where I need to fix on my next job. You know, so.
You've only been in this business, like well, not this business, but you built your company 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
How many trucks do
Yeah.
you have now?
Can't even count. I think I have around 6 trucks now, and I'm chasing the asphalt side of it now. So the paving side.
Congratulations.
I feel like I've conquered the sealer side and the striping, and now I want to be a full paving company eventually. So that's why my main focus is now to be paving. And DC is, I got my eyes on him, so I'm following as hard as I can. Yeah, they do good work. They really do.
If he's, I don't know if DC's on right now. I can't see, but there's been a lot of people on throughout this live. But DC, man, he might end up falling behind you because of that finger that he busted in the door.
Oh, I didn't even hear about it.
Okay, he smashed his finger, and you know what? He's out on the job right after. Like, I mean, that's the thing. People in the asphalt business, man, tough people, you know. And,
oh yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's.
Yeah, I broke my shoulder, and I was out paving 3 days later.
Couldn't even believe that when I saw.
Worst mistake of my life, but yeah.
Man, well, listen, 4 years. Congratulations on your growth, and
Thank you.
And really important, man. Take a look in that mirror. Take a look in that mirror from time to time. Be proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the back, and know that your hard work is changing not only your life but also changing others because of what you're sharing right now and being a part of the community at USA Sealcoaters and those kind of things. So it's nice to build a business, but it's also nice to help other people change their lives for the better. And I know everybody appreciates that. That being said, man, I really appreciate the time. I know everybody else does for sure. If there's any questions, feel free to comment in the comments box below with any questions you have. And I know that Justin and I will kind of keep an eye on the comments throughout the next few days, as it's probably going to be a little bit busy in the comments. But we'll do our best to answer questions. And please, anybody who can't answer the questions, don't wait for Justin or myself to do it. Go ahead and answer them, and let's all do this together. Collaboration and unity and teamwork always comes out ahead, man. And Justin, I really appreciate our relationship too, bro.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. And like I say, if anyone needs anything, just feel free to call me. I love to talk to people, and I love to help them if they're even on the job and they're having a struggle or need someone to talk to. Just call me because I might be having the same struggle you're having at the same time. So just give me a call.
You're awesome, bro. All right, well, listen, all the best to you and your family, and we'll talk, I'm sure, very, very soon.
All right, bro.